All right, let's talk about something that's become a real legend in the photography world. We're going to dive deep into the story of one specific camera sensor, a piece of gear that's gained an almost mythical status over the years.
You know how it is. We're always being told that the latest and greatest is what we need. More megapixels, faster processors, we're all chasing specs on a spreadsheet. But what if, just maybe, in that race for technical perfection, we lost a little bit of, well, a little bit of magic? And that's where this little guy comes in, the very first X-trans sensor from Fujifilm. We're talking way back in 2012. And even now, there's this whole community of photographers who will swear to you that it has a special quality, one that's never quite been matched since. So that's the big question, right? Does this old piece of silicone actually have a soul? Or is this whole thing just photographers looking back with rose-tinted glasses? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's really try and peel back the layers here. Why on earth are people still so obsessed with this 16 megapixel sensor from old cameras like the X Pro 1 and the XE1? What is this magic that everybody keeps talking about? To really get it, we've got to look at what makes it tick. Because the appeal here isn't about numbers on a spec sheet. Not at all. It's all about how the final picture feels.
And that's the word you hear over and over again, painterly. The idea is that the images just feel more organic, more like film. It's not trying to create a perfect clinical photocopy of reality. It's rendering it with a real, distinct, and kind of artistic character. And we can actually break that feeling down. First off, the contrast is naturally softer right out of the gate. Then you've got these incredibly smooth transitions between tones. It's why skin looks amazing, and skies don't have that weird banding. People point to this really lush, unique way it renders greens, and how the reds just feel right. It all comes together to give you this feeling that's just a bit more analog.
And here's the big one. This is where you can see the magic without any effort. Fujifilm's JPEG engine on these first cameras is just legendary. The way the sensor's data mixed with those early film simulations, it created something special that people are still trying to recreate today. Then there's this. This is where things get a little weird, a little mystical. It's called the X-trans glow. Honestly, it's a debated, almost mythical thing, but some photographers are convinced that with certain lenses, like that original 35mm f1.4, the sensor produces this beautiful, subtle glow as highlights roll off. It's the kind of perfect imperfection that modern cameras are designed to eliminate.
Okay, so to really understand why that first generation is so unique, we kind of have to look at what happened next. We need to follow the path of how this sensor evolved over time. So here it is, laid out nice and simple. It all starts in 2012 with our original hero, the 16 megapixel X-Trans I. Then, a couple years later, we get Gen 2, which was a nice refinement, adding some much-needed autofocus help. But then, Gen 3 hits, and that was the big shift. A jump to 24 megapixels. From there, IV and V just become absolute powerhouses of speed and resolution. And this table, well, it tells the entire story, doesn't it? Just look at the words for X-Trans I. Filmic, painterly, warm, organic. Now, jump down to X-Trans 3. Clinical precision, accurate, cooler, modern. You can see the narrative right there, with every single leap forward in technical ability. Better AF, more pixels, cleaner high ISO, a tiny bit of that original quirky character got refined away. And that right there brings us to the absolute heart of this whole thing. This isn't really a question of which sensor is better. It's a choice between two completely different philosophies of image making. So here's the bottom line. On one side, you have the Gen 1 sensor. Let's call it the artist. It's all about the experience. It forces you to slow down, to be more deliberate. It embraces its own technical limits to create this unique film-like image. And on the other side, you've got the modern sensors, the technician. They're incredible all-rounders. They're built for speed, for versatility, for technical perfection. One isn't better than the other, not at all. They're just different tools for different jobs.
So what does all this mean for you if you're curious? Okay, first things first, that magic is easiest to find right in the JPEGs. But a word of warning, by today's standards, these cameras are slow. And their low light performance, it's not great. So the choice to use one is purely subjective. It's 100% a matter of taste. And yes, it is absolutely true that tons of photographers who sold their old Gen 1 cameras have gone back and rebought them just to have that special look in their bag. All right, let's bring it all into focus and put a final frame on this whole story. What's the real verdict on this legendary little sensor?
So here it is. The verdict is the special painterly quality of Fujifilm's first X-Trans sensor is absolutely real. It is not just nostalgia. But, and this is the important part, whether that quality is actually better is a question that only you can answer. It all comes down to your personal taste and what you want your photos to feel like.
And that leaves us with one final, bigger question to chew on. In this industry's constant, relentless push for technical perfection, for flawless sharpness, for zero noise, for infinite dynamic range, what unique character, what beautiful little imperfections have we systematically engineered away? What have we lost in the process?